Devin Witherspoon.
KJ Wright.
Dave Burleson. You're watching NorCam.
You're watching NorCam.
What's up, everybody? This is NorCam coming at you. A little news update on the latest of what's going on with the Seattle Seahawks in this week, a crucial week, as the Seahawks come back home to Seattle to face the Arizona Cardinals in a rematch. I haven't done a breakdown like this in a while, and I felt it was overdue. Finally have the time to do it, and this is a great time to do it because right now it is a great time to be a Seahawks fan with everything that's been going on. Pretty exciting, but pivotal point right now. So I have very cautious optimism as we're entering into the second half of the season. A lot of reasons to be excited, but a lot of reasons to not get too far ahead of ourselves because a lot of things can happen that can completely change the way things are going. But I like what we've done so far. It feels sustainable. And with the moves we've just recently made, it's pretty dang exciting. So welcome everybody who's tuning in. I see AD here, Tim Davern, MMXO Gaming, Isaiah Lewis, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What's going on? Doing good. Getting over a little bit of cold. My voice is a little bit raspy, but I'm hanging in there. All right, let's cut to the good stuff right off the bat. All right. As everybody knows by now, as I got in the title of this video, the Seahawks made a big trade yesterday, the only trade right before the deadline, picking up Rashid Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints in exchange for a 4th and a 5th round pick for next season. And at first when I heard this, I was a little bit surprised. I was a little bit like, really? Receiver? Do we really need receiver? We got all these guys. But then I was thinking, when we went to that Commanders game, we were a little banged up. We didn't have Cooper Kupp. We didn't have Jake Bobo, Derek Young. And so we were pulling guys up for the practice squad. And, it was a little concerning there. But obviously it didn't hamper us at all because we took care of the Commanders no problem. So what do we get in Rashid Shaheed? I can't get that name right. Pretty amazing stuff. The more I looked into him, the more excited I got. So the biggest thing with him, he is fast. This dude is quick. 6 foot, 180 pounds. Was a Pro Bowler, an All-Pro. Been in the league, 4 years now? What's cool about this guy, he is as fast and maybe faster than JSN. Not as fast as Torrey Horton, but we're talking about 3 guys now. Rashid now with a 4.48 40, just like JSN. And you add the 4.41 with Torrey Horton. That puts us with 3 dudes who can just stretch the field. We all talk about how are we going to replace, the speed of DK. Well, we've just done it. I mean, when we picked up Torrey Horton, I was already thinking, man, this could be the replacement for DK. And now we've got another guy who is just as much of a deep threat and was pretty amazing. Even though he was just with a bad Saints team with a not very good, quarterback situation, but reunited with Clint Kubiak, this guy is going to know how to unlock this dude. And what I like about him is looking just at his numbers from Pro Football Reference. One thing that really jumps out at me is the touchdowns and the yardage is okay, but look at the yards per reception, 14.9 yards per reception. That's career. That means this dude gets open. He gets open down the field. And the way Sam Darnold is throwing the ball right now is pretty magical. Sam Darnold is leading the league right now, one of the hottest quarterbacks on the planet. And, this legitimately creates what I know we've teased the idea of the Legion of Zoom. This could be one of the most potent offensive receiving corps we've ever had. And that's saying a lot. But we've never really had this combination of 3 dudes who can streak down the field. There's a lot of question about JSN last year when he was going to be the number 1 receiver right before he's having this career and record-setting season. Can he be a true number 1? He's always been like a slot guy. With DK out, he's going to be put to. Can he make it as a true number 1? Well, we've gotten that question answered. Torrey Horton has come out. He's already scored 5 touchdowns in his rookie season, looking to break records of his own And now we bring Rashid Shaheed into the mix with Cooper Kupp. It's going to actually be tough to decide when Cooper Kupp gets healthy who's going to be the odd man out when we have four of these guys who can all ball. I guess it'll be situational, but it's pretty exciting to think what this could be. Legion of Zoom, the L-O-Z is going to be pretty damn cool. We will see, as expected, Rashid Shaheed gave a press conference today, talked about how, obviously said all those things that you would expect to hear in a press conference. Yeah, excited to be here. But when asked about, at the end of this, what would be, a 1-year deal, he sounds like he's saying he wants to stay here. He wants to make Seattle his home. So without even playing a snap, he's already talking future here. So that's pretty encouraging. We'll see how it goes. But that means really is that he's motivated. He has to be motivated because this is like him playing for his future contract. So he's got to be out there with half a season to go to prove to the Seahawks and any other team that might be courting him that he is worth everything that he's going to deserve in his next contract. All right, so I'm really excited with what this guy can bring. Rashid Shaheed, we will get to see him up close and personal when we take on the Cardinals on Sunday. All right, so it's very easy to get very high on the Seahawks right now because they are considered, they're probably one of the most talked about teams, which is rare because usually everyone's overlooking the Seahawks. But after the thumping of the Commanders this past Sunday night, 38-14, everybody's talking about them. All the talk shows now are talking about the Seahawks when nobody would give the Seahawks the time of day. It was kind of annoying actually in the offseason when we were any analyst, when asked, any vlog, any would-be so-called expert about the NFC West or any about the teams moving forward, the Seahawks were automatically shelved into the basement. 4 or 5 win team maybe. Sam Darnold's not going to be any good with the Seahawks because they only remember his last game with the Vikings where he didn't play very well against the Rams. And we all had our doubts, right? Our concerns. Like, is he going to be able to do it? Which version are we going to see? Well, that first half of the season looks pretty darn good. So it's easy to be really high on the Seahawks right now, right? 6-2, tied for the best record in the NFC. Darnold playing out of his mind. It was perfect for 17-17 to start that game. Throwing touchdowns to 2 to Horton, 1 to Arroyo, 1 to Cody White, who was signed up for the practice squad because we had so many injuries to all the other guys. And JSN, who still had a 100-yard game, never scored a touchdown. I mean, that's how good this offense was without even going to his favorite receiver. So just goes to show how good Sam Darnold is right now. He doesn't even need to have all his favorite targets hitting to still put on a show. That said, and of course we got to add to that, JSN 50 yards away, 52 yards or something like that, away from already reaching 1,000 yards. He will break that next game, I'm sure of it. And he'll be 1,000 yards already, and we're barely halfway through the season. He could be on pace to break 2,000 yards this season. Already tied Steve Largent's record for consecutive 100-yard games. It's nuts, and it's excited to think if this can just keep going. And what I like about this addition to having Rashid Shaheed, what this also does is by having 2 guys who can stretch the field legitimately, that's going to force teams to have 2 safeties back, which, of course, what that means is less help in the box. That should open up even more opportunities for the run game, which we know we've all been like complaining, I can't run the football. What's wrong with our running game? Well, this may be one more reason that our offensive output will be even more diversified now, being able to run the football because of the threat of the pass. And that's pretty cool. I mean, it's already been a potent passing game. You had one more weapon like this, and this should open up a lot of stuff, both for the tight ends and for the running backs underneath. So pretty damn cool. Really excited. But, so I go into this next game here as it's been a long time since we've been to a game. The last time we saw the Seahawks play in person was the last time we saw the Mariners play in person, Monday night. Feels like an eternity ago now, but I was at that game watching with my skull paint on, watching the Mariners from the club lounge not even watching the Seahawks play. It was the weirdest thing to be at a Seahawks game at the stadium watching baseball on TV because we had to see what happened in that game. Of course, we know how that ended. Luckily, we did get the win over the Texans to wipe the stench of that loss. But that felt like ages ago. So it'll be exciting to get back to the stadium again to watch the Seahawks host the Cardinals for the second time around. And this game scares me a little bit because, number one, this is probably, from a division standpoint, two of the most important weeks we will face here as we face the Cardinals for the second time, and then we face the Rams in Los Angeles. We haven't played them yet. The Cardinals just beat they finally broke that 5-game losing streak and beat the Cowboys. Granted, the Cowboys' defense sucks, but they also shut down a pretty potent offense in the Cowboys, who've been putting up points on everybody. They held them to, 17 points, 27-17. And so they were doing some good stuff. Won the turnover battle. The Cowboys kind of shot themselves in the foot a lot, which is kind of normal. It's the Cowboys. But the biggest thing I thought was the Cardinals. I've said this so many times before that I like the Cardinals with Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray kind of brings the team down, actually, especially when he plays the Seahawks, because once he gets his head down, he brings the whole vibe down. He's just not a mentally strong dude when it comes to adversity. Unfortunately, now they've got Jacoby Brissett in place of him. He played pretty darn good against the Cowboys. He looked like an actual legitimate quarterback who knows how to lead his team. Made good throws, knows how to use Marvin Harrison Jr., was very efficient, had long drives, scored when they had to score. This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a challenge for Seattle because it's not Kyler Murray. And so sometimes we've had past games when we've played the Cardinals and their backup quarterbacks have done more damage to us than the starter. Colt McCoy, I think, comes to mind of a game that we got beat pretty bad against the Cardinals, I believe. And there's multiple teams that have had backups that have come in and just made us look bad when we're thinking we should dominate these guys. So this is a very important game because, one, it's another home game where our home field advantage, while we won the last one, it's not been on the road. We won, 10 in a row? I mean, crazy. But yet at home, we struggle. So this will be another game where we could slowly earn that home field advantage back. But more importantly is this divisional game that the Cardinals, by beating them, at least we'll get another sweep of them and keep that win streak going, which sets up the biggest game of the year that follows, not to look too far ahead because this one's just as important. But we got the Rams waiting in the wings, and they are stride for stride, right there with us. I mean, we're literally with the same record, 6-2, and we just have them by a hair, putting us in first place right now. But just because of our division record, I believe, and maybe because of our conference record, but as far as our actual record, we are tied. And the Niners somehow, with all their injuries, are still only a hair behind us at 6-3. So these next 2 weeks could be the key to securing the division. You win both of these, and we are put in a great spot to win the division. We go 1-1, not as good. We go 0-2, we're in big trouble. So we got to beat the Cardinals, and it would be great to beat the Rams. And this is all in a very important 2-week stretch. This Rams game, by the way, if you live around here, we will be having our annual Fans for Good viewing party at Stimpy's in Federal Way. And so we're going to be doing some fundraising stuff with raffle prizes and auction items, some pretty cool things that you got to check out. And so if you're in the area, you got to come watch at Stimpy's Bar and Grill on the 16th when they take on the Rams. It was pretty exciting last year. That was that game where we beat the 49ers with in the last 30 seconds of the game. The place went nuts. You might have seen my video of that. We were hoping for a similar kind of thing. Because every game I think we've played, having these watch parties have been down to the wire, down to a missed field goal or a last-second score. So it's going to be, I'm sure, another nail-biter as we take on the Rams in one of the biggest, if not the biggest game of the season for sure to this point. So, super important, but really excited to see Rashid Shaheed, what he can do. It's just another toy for Sam Darnold. The offensive line has been playing really well. Grace Zabel, man, we're talking about him. He has been like almost perfect from a pass protection standpoint. Hasn't given up any sacks. Charles Cross has really been a step up this year. We haven't talked about our center Sundell, which is good because always seem to have issues with our centers. Last year, Connor Williams, the snaps over the head and switching guys retiring midseason. This year, we haven't talked about the center. Abe Lucas has been pretty good. He's had some moments of not greatness, but for the most part, pretty solid. Anthony Bradford. Sometimes I watch some of these plays and he's just like head scratching, like, what is this guy? What is he doing out here? But he can also pound some dudes. So if he could just have a few more good plays instead of as many boneheaded misses and lunges and things like that, we'll be even better shape than we already are. So hopefully he can step up his game. But the defense is playing lights out. One of the tops in every category from scoring, yards, just as good as you'd expect from a Mike McDonald defense and what we hoped they would be as they went into his second year. The biggest concern for me right now is, we're doing fine somehow without Julian Love. Ty Okada has really earned my respect. He had a great, beautiful interception against the Commanders last week, and they're doing well, hanging in there without Julian Love. He'll be out for another 4 weeks on injured reserve. Biggest concern and what to keep your eye out on is Ernest Jones. The only really significant injury coming out of that game against the Commanders, he left, I think, in the first half, got rolled up on in that right knee and didn't return. I don't know what his status is. I heard he was a limited participant in practice. I'd be surprised if he'd play. I'm expecting that he's going to miss at least a game, maybe two, which sucks because, as I said, these are two of the most important games of the year to not have our stud middle or inside linebacker. So Tyrese Knight and Drake Thomas will have to hold it down. I really like Ernest Jones in there, but injuries are injuries, so we're going to have to roll with it. But Nick Immanwori has been just everything is advertised. It's great to have Witherspoon back in. Job got hurt. I think he got concussed, so Woolen had to come in, and he did pretty good, although he did have that stupid taunting penalty, which I don't know why we get half of those penalties. JSN's done a few of those too. It's a little annoying, but I like the aggressiveness. Leonard Williams, talk about that. I can't talk enough about that dude. Just his ability to get sacks, chase down guys. He chased down Jaden Daniels from behind and stopped a fourth down conversion from happening. Big old dude chasing him down from behind. So it's pretty awesome. And I love what the defense is doing, really stepping up. It just feels like there's a really cohesion to this team right now. And it's exciting. I'm just trying not to get too, there's so much talk of, the Seahawks are contenders and they could be in the Super Bowl and this and this. I'm like, let's win the division first. How about let's beat our division opponents first. Let's get some more wins at home first. I'm not saying I don't believe in our team. I do. But it's, I've lived long enough and watched enough of these teams where we have found ourselves in games where you're thinking, how are we losing these guys? So we just don't want to overlook anybody. But so far, they have outperformed even my expectations because I have been called out for, in my music prediction videos, predicting losses where we've gotten wins. But although I think a lot of you, these are predictions from the beginning of the year, mind you. So I had predicted that we would lose to the Texans, and I thought we would lose to the Commanders. We beat both of them handily, but they're also not as good as they were last year. The Commanders were in the NFC Championship. The Texans played out of their minds and made it to at least the division, I think, last year, right? They're not playing on that same level this year for various reasons, injuries and whatnot. So, got to give me a break, right? I made these predictions 2 months ago. So, I do have us winning this game, though, and I'll play the music video this week so you can see my prediction that I did along with, in collaboration with Andrew A. and AD, who helped me out with the lyrics and the music video. So hopefully that comes true as predicted. But yeah, we'll see what we have in store. But if you're going to the game like I am, I hope all of you who are at the game will do your part and be loud when you're supposed to be loud and shut the hell up when we have the ball in offense. Okay, nothing drives me crazy when I hear freaking Seahawks chant when we're like third down and need to hear a snap count. It's like, come on, guys. But we need all hands on deck. So hopefully, if you're going to be at the game, let's get it on. So it's going to be fun. It's been a long time. I feel like, again, it's been an eternity since we've been in the stadium. So I'm excited. Can't wait to get our throat on and to see a victory. It's going to be, I no matter what, I think it's going to be closer than we want it to be. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Can't wait to see this new look offense with Rashid Shaheed. All right, I want to look at some of these comments that people have brought in here. Let's see. Oh, Uma Pirate Girl Uman is here. Oh, she's watching the Kraken tonight. Isaiah Lewis says, heading to Seattle for the first time this week. Do you have any suggestions on places I should visit? Wow. Are you talking about places in Seattle? There's a lot. It depends on what kind of things you're into as far as what you like to see. If you've never been to Seattle, you definitely got to hit the obvious things like downtown, Pike Place, Space Needle. Go for a ferry ride. Let's see. You should check out, we have some great museums if you're into museums. We also have a lot of beautiful natural things like Snoqualmie Falls. It just depends. A lot of cool tour things that you get to know our city if you're only here for a short while. Let's see. Tyler Green, I'm going to the Titans game. Okay, we should win that game. Oh, and we're playing the Colts later in December. All of a sudden, that's going to be a little more challenging since they traded 2 first-round picks to get Sauce Gardner from the Jets. So our receivers will be much more challenged when we play the Colts in December. So that game just suddenly got a little bit harder. And Colts being one of the best teams in the NFL right now. It's crazy. Isaiah, go to Pike Place Market. Yep. Pike's Place Marker. That's a good name for it. Cheryl Inman says 8-2. Are we talking about what our record's going to be? I hope so. That would be nice, huh? Dennis Sorensen. They're just talking about the Pike Place Market. Cheryl said, I had a feeling that somebody from New Orleans were coming over to Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, well, they were definitely the team with only, one win. They were certainly sellers at the market, and I just thought we might be looking at something else. I did not know we were going to be eyeballing receivers like we are, but with all the injuries, kind of makes sense too. Dukes of Hazzard, who had a lot of super chats last show. Appreciate that. Carol, call up Russ for a backup job. Man, wouldn't that be wild? Just getting all the old Seahawks together. He got Geno Smith, and hey, let's get Tyler Lockett over here. And hey, let's just get Russ in here. That'd be entertaining. Titans game will be a snooze fest after the second quarter. I hope so. Better be. Maybe we can just rest our guys after that. Vin, what's up, man? Vin gave me the kukui nut necklace. I didn't have to wear it last time. We were just dominating. I didn't have to wear it. What's going on? Let's see. Ben Ellison says, not too familiar with Shaheed. I hear he's a speed demon on the field. Anything else a clueless Hawks fan needs to know? He's not just fast, but he can catch. He's got really good high percentage. I don't think he's dropped a ball in like the last 20 targets or something like that. So, and again, he's familiar with Kubiak because Kubiak was with him at the Saints. So there's a lot of familiarity, which will allow him to, I think, get incorporated into our system very quickly. Diane says, I'm down with the Legion of Zoom. LOZ. Oh, that'd be great. I mean, if they just come out firing, lighting up scoreboards with these guys down the field. LOZ, greatest show on turf. Remember that? Greatest show on field turf. Be pretty cool. Yeah, Legion of Zoom is great. I'm not taking credit for that. That's been around. I've heard that before, but this is the first legitimate time I feel like we've got the chance to actually be that. And if we just do what we've been doing, Sam Darnold avoid the bad turnover. We had one bad turnover against Washington, and one thing they did this great game that they've often messed themselves up with. They didn't do any dumb like trick plays. Like in the previous game, they had Cooper Kupp with that throw, a receiver double pass that got intercepted. Jalen Milroe with a random quarterback draw where he fumbles. I mean, why? A lot of times you're just having great drives and you kill it with this dumb, entertain yourself. So just play ball, all right? So, because when you're doing that, he's just so good at just doing the regular things. I know. Kyler Murray is not playing. It is going to be Jacoby Brissett, which is concerning to me because he looked pretty good. Yes, 49ers play the Rams this week. Who to root for? Which do you think helps the Hawks better? Well, that's tough, right? Because we haven't played the Rams yet, so really we're got 0-0 on that one. If the Rams beat the 49ers, it knocks them down to 6-4, so we have like a 2-game lead on them. But then that makes the Rams 7-2, which means we got to win to keep up with them. If the Rams lose, they drop to 6-3, and then both those teams have 3 losses, and then we're kind of sitting alone. If we beat the Cardinals, we could be 7-2 with both those teams ahead by a game. So there's kind of an argument to be said that maybe we want the 49ers to beat the Rams just to knock them down a peg. It's a tough one. I feel like I would want the Rams to lose because the Niners, I feel like, are the weaker team, the more banged up team. They lost to the Texans, the other weekend. And the Rams, I feel like, are the powerhouse. They're the team that's going to give us the biggest trouble. 49ers gave us trouble too. They beat us that first game. They shouldn't have. And we got to face them again at the end of the season. So they're both trouble. So I guess if I had to pick just because of the record, let's just have the Niners give the Rams another loss. Just to knock both those guys and give them 3 losses. Who do I think will win? I think the Rams will win, though. I don't know. I think they're the stronger team, the healthier team. Cheryl says, it's Seahawks time no matter what. I hope so. She says these guys are hungry and they're ready. Hawks are more refined and precise than Arizona. If Kubiak keeps it real, it should go well, even with Brissett at quarterback. Yeah, I agree. We are the better team. We are the better defense, but the Cardinals showed some signs of life, and as the stats were pointed out during the broadcast, they haven't really been losing by that badly. They've been like in games and just losing in the last few minutes, including to us. Although we dominated them and then we somehow let them get back in the game and then we had to beat them with the last second field goal. So, it was kind of a misleading game, that one. Isaac, what's going on? 2 pick sixes says Cheryl. I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. The Spooks, what's going on? Night Fox is here. Says, I'm thinking we could have teams with 12 wins in our division that does not make the playoffs. It's very true. We could have 3 teams in the West in the playoffs. Right? Possibly. Can it work that way? It could. I mean, if at some point we got to cannibalize each other because the Rams and the Seahawks we haven't played yet. Someone's going to eat somebody up. And then, this week, one of the Rams and the 49ers are going to eat each other up. And then, so it won't stay this close forever. Things are going to separate in the next couple of weeks. And hopefully that's us. 8-2 would be great because that means the rest of the division is going to be down by at least a game or 2. Roger Peterson, Cardinals are always tough. I have Seahawks by 2 touchdowns. That would be cool. Trevor Laris, Mopop is cool. Mopop is cool. Yeah, if you like museums, again, I said museums are great. They got the Museum of Illusions, too, which I heard is really awesome. The Art Museum. You can do Underground Seattle if you're into history stuff. Nate JP, I've been watching since I was a kid in 2016. I'm a college freshman now. LOL, go Hawks. I think if you've been watching my channel since 2016, I appreciate that. That's something I was only doing it for like 3 years at the time. The big wheel. I think you mean the great. They call it the Great Wheel. You know, the big Ferris wheel. Most big cities have one now. They got that one off the water. They also have that fly over Washington, kind of like a perspective film thing, like what's it called in Soaring in California Adventure in Disneyland. Tyler says, if they didn't get Shaheed, who would you want them to get? Right guard? I wouldn't have been mad if they made that move. I feel like that's the weakest part of our line. MMXOJ Gaming. Hank, our wide receiver group is nasty. They could very well be. Like I said, we might have too many good weapons. Ruben, we're still repping the Hawks here in Ilo City. When's your next trip to the Philippines? Go Hawks. I'm not sure yet. There was potential to go there next year, but okay, my wife is planning to go with a bunch of her family, sisters and stuff. But then I've got all these work-related things happening early next year. So, and who knows, maybe the Seahawks might be making a special trip to the Bay Area in February. I don't know. Don't want to get ahead of myself. Alec Vega. Oh, Alec, I haven't heard from you in a while. Hey, no, I'm going to the Bucks and the Pats game. Should be an exciting game. Go Bucks. Okay. Patriots doing pretty good this year. Aussie88, we actually have a chance for the Super Bowl. Darnold's been playing great, but is making bad turnovers a lot. I would say a lot. His interceptions are not frequent. He does make them occasionally, though, and just not that often. But I know the rub on him is they'll look at last year and go, he led the Vikings to 14-3. But then look what happened at the end of the season and in the playoffs. So people are going to hold on to that until he proves you wrong. And, of course, even for us, that could be the same case. But we could arguably be undefeated right now, right? We should have beaten the 49ers. I think we were going to win that game on that play that he fumbled the ball on. Just bad luck. Great play by, what's his name? Bosa. Nick Bosa, who's out for the year now. And so is their middle linebacker, too. So next time we play them, we won't be facing those guys. Flip mode, Pyro. Are we going to see a lot of deep ball passes from Darnold since we got speedster wide receivers? I wouldn't think necessarily that they're just going to go to town, bomb after bomb. But what's good about it is the threat is there. And as I said earlier, I think that's going to open up for both underneath routes to the tight ends, and it should open up the running game because the secondary is going to have to play looser and deeper to cover that deep threat. So you load the box up and try to stop the run, put guys one-on-one, that's a better chance that somebody's going to break free and be wide open. And Darnold has hit on a lot of those. So, that's the risk you take. You put two safeties back, then you got a lighter box, more room to operate for our running backs. And that's the one thing that hasn't quite taken off yet is the running game. It's like still going. It's like, but consistency and, being able to get like substantive yards, where we're getting like 100 yards consistently. If we get to a point, I've said since the beginning, if we have a rusher in a game where a single rusher is rushing for 100 yards or we're getting as a team like 150 yards, we're probably winning that game. It's almost an automatic. So if we get to a point where we can be doing that consistently, then I'll start drinking the major Kool-Aid. Like we might be ready for that. Just not quite there yet because some pieces that are still getting worked out on. I think we need the Rams to lose. That's what I'm saying. I think we need the Rams to lose. I agree. At least we didn't trade a first and third like for Percy Harvin. Right, fourth and a fifth. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Although Percy Harvin did help us win the Super Bowl. So for what he was worth, he didn't play much. But when he did play, it was a high impact dude. It's too bad he just fell apart the following year and was gone by like midseason. Seahawks should have done more. Go all in. Draft picks are overrated, in my opinion. Well, yes and no, because we've had some good drafts lately because they're overrated, but guess what? We got Gray Zabel. Guess what? We got Torrey Horton. Guess what? We got Elijah Arroyo. Guess what? We got JSN. Those are all draft picks that we got, higher draft picks. Nick Imanwari, you going to tell me that these guys are overrated? They're exactly what we were hoping they would be at this point of the year. So, fourth and fifth round, you can get some good stuff there. So we're definitely sacrificing future talent, but to win now, to solve a problem now. That's obviously the trade-off. So I agree. You can't just hang on to everything in the draft because you can't just keep banking on next year. I'll get it next year because sometimes you got that window right now, kind of like what the Mariners were trying to do. All right, a little bit more before I wrap this up. From Rouser, Shaheed trade seems like a nothing burger to me, not needle moving at all. Really? Hey, it was a Pro Bowler and a All Pro, but the numbers are pretty impressive. The problem is you're looking at a guy who played on a really crappy team. They're a 1-win team this year, and they were like a 2-win team last year, 3-win team last year. So when you're stuck in a bad team, you're not going to get paid much attention to. He's going to be different on this team. We might see it on Sunday, but it's going to be different. So we'll see. We might go back to this conversation and play back these things and see what we have to say about it. But, you're just trolling me, man. Come on. People, do you trust Sam Darnold in the playoffs, considering what you saw last year when he played the Lions and the Rams? Right now, if I forget about last year was a whole different team, whole different everything. Can only go off of what we know, what we have the sample size for, and that is he's really good pocket presence, gets rid of the ball, doesn't take a lot of sacks. He's very efficient. He has a great chemistry with JSN. And occasionally, though, he does give up the football. And once in a while. And obviously in the playoffs, that could be the most crucial thing. So, but I'm not going to just assume that because that happened last year that, it happened last year, so wait till it gets to the last game of the season in the playoffs, it'll happen again. I don't believe that's the case. But I think if we got a running game firing on all cylinders, that will change everything because that's the one thing that's missing in terms of consistent weapon on our side. Seahawks ain't beating the Eagles, Packers, Lions, Bucks. Sorry, but that is just the truth. We are a divisional or wild card exit. We should have beaten the Bucks. Could have beaten the Bucks. So I think that's you can negate that. It wasn't like we were getting killed. Eagles, Packers, Lions. Packers look pretty dang good, but they're not invincible. Eagles are not as strong as they were last year, and neither are the Lions. They're all good teams, but they're still. We're also better than we were last year. So, and the defense is arguably better than last year. So I think we are. We can hang with these teams. I wouldn't say like we can't beat them, but it's going to be a tall order for sure. Jeffrey, Eagles and Packers are trash, homie. Rouser says, I'm scared that Darnold will turn into a pumpkin. All right, well, let's quit worrying about that, all right? You can't just look at history and just assume that it's going to repeat itself, all right? You got to let go of that. And look at it for what it is right now. This is a different team, different situation. Henry Hitchens, hey, Henry. The Rams are currently the biggest obstacle for the Hawks winning the division. I agree. We also have to see how when look against them also, what's the latest from Ernest Jones' injury? Yeah, that's the big concern on my side. I'm guessing 1 to 2 weeks, or 1 to 2 games, which is the same, which sucks because he may not play against the Rams. Could really use him against the Rams. Maybe be able to get through the Cardinals without him, but it's going to be, he would have been really important with the Rams, so I would love to have him back in after this game. But something tells me it's not going to happen. That looked like a nasty roll-up on his knee. Kick up. Is there any chance we bench Bradford for Haynes? I've been waiting for that. And Haynes, I think he's just been banged up. So it's possible that when Haynes is finally fully healthy, that maybe he could step in. And I've been waiting for that since last year. So will he? Can he? I've been waiting for it. But obviously the coaching staff knows better than anybody else. So if they have him and he's available and they don't play him, well, clearly there's a reason. And it just sucks that that's the case because I had high hopes for him last year. Where are we at here? Man, a lot of comments. Jeez. I need to catch up. Grid flow. Trash when they're defending they're the defending champ 6-2 and they got better at the deadline. Yeah. Jeffrey says the Rams sacked Sam 7 times in the playoffs last year. Not going to be doing much when your O-line plays like hot garbage. Yeah, and can't blame Sam Darnold for maybe some of those, but not all of those. If you had to pick, who would you give up for another draft/trade? If you had to pick, you mean like if the trade deadline didn't already end, who would I give up for another draft/trade? That's a tough one. I have a hard time letting go of guys. it's in my pack rat nature to want to not let things go. But I don't know. That's a tough one. We gave up draft picks, so it's easy to give up draft picks because they're not real people. A hard time giving up players because I like everybody we got. I feel like we need everybody we got. So I don't know. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one, Alina. Too hard for me to answer. There was a rumor that we offered the Raiders 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, but they didn't budge. I would have been so happy if it was done. 2 first-round picks. Yeah, it would have been a nice addition for sure. I don't know. For 2 first-rounders for that, though. I mean, I like the way our line is operating. I feel like we're doing great. Knock on wood, everybody stays healthy, of course. But trade deadline's over, so. But what is the hit rate of 4 to 5th rounders? Like 25%? If you win a championship, who cares about the future? Well, that's a great win now mentality. I mean, I agree. Would you? Yeah, that's a good question. Would you rather, give up a 4th or 5th rounder next year and win the Super Bowl this year, or not and have those 4th and 5th round picks next year? Yeah, of course we'll take the win. We'll take the playoff and the Super Bowl this year, of course. That's the thing, is we never know how it's going to play out. But we do have pretty good luck with some of those 4th and 5th rounders. Alina, my question is, what is going on with the Chiefs? Talk about dropping the ball. They left all the way back in Cleveland, LOL. Yeah, the Chiefs they started off really slow. Ever since they lost the Super Bowl last year, they haven't looked the same. They've had a lot of injuries too. But, it's hard to be the top team in the NFL for so many years in a row, right? With all the players switching and everything like that. Even despite having a lot of those players carry over, it's hard because you do have injuries and certain players leave, and so you got to replace and replenish. And look at the Seahawks, right? We went to back-to-back Super Bowls, should have won 2, and after that we were competitive, but couldn't get back to the Super Bowl after that. And it's been 11 years since we went. It's hard, but it's it's tough to win in the NFL. That's why the teams that keep coming back is pretty impressive, like what the Patriots did. Pro Bowler as a kick returner. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that that Rashid Shaheed also is a kick returner too. Pro Bowler as a kick returner, can't stay healthy, never close to 1,000 yards, even on a bad team. You need someone to throw to. Yeah, I guess throwing some shade on Rashid Shaheed here. There have been some injury issues. I'll give you that. But he is a good pass catcher, and he is fast, and his yards per reception numbers don't lie. But yeah, so bad team, bad quarterback. Something's going to suffer. So we'll see. We'll see what he turns into, and see one of those situations where, you take a player like, look at Daniel Jones, right? Sucked on the Giants, and now he's on a 7-1 team with the Indianapolis Colts because they changed the scenery. So there's truth to that. You take a guy for one team and he's one thing, you put him on another and he's a whole different animal, right? Sometimes it's just the coaching, the atmosphere, the culture. So we'll see. We'll see what the change is. Henry H. It is a warranted fear to think Sam will become a pumpkin in the playoffs. It's up to him to prove us wrong and everyone else wrong. Yeah, you're right. That's always going to be a stigma until he has that chip off his shoulder knocked off. Did you see the Night Fox? Did you see the video showing that two of the guys getting touchdowns for us last week? It was their first TD in the NFL. Yeah, Cody White with that 60-yard bomb. And then who was the other one that got their first TD? I thought that was the only one who got the first one. Arroyo's had one, right? Or was that Arroyo's first one? Oh, maybe that was Arroyo's first touchdown. Yeah. He had one in preseason. But, yeah, Arroyo too. So, pretty cool. Again, happening with a quarterback, who didn't even have his normal weapons. Alina, ain't is not word, so what you said is not going to happen. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good argument. Jeffrey had 700 yards 2 years ago. He hasn't been close to a 1K season. I'm not going to put yardage. I don't measure that as a stat. He wasn't even the primary receiver on the Saints. So you guys look at the wrong thing. Don't look at the total yardage. That's not a good measurement. Ozzy 88. Our defense is top 5, if not top 1 to 3. Maybe the Broncos is better. Yeah, defense wins championships, right? Trevor Laris. Packers lost to the Panthers and Vikings beat the Lions. Yeah, go figure, right? No one saw either of those coming. Everybody thought the Panthers would get destroyed by the Packers, and the Lions should have beaten the Vikings because the Vikings looked like crap the previous week before. How does Mark Collins feel about Sam Darnold now? Because I know he was critical of it. Oh, he was super critical. Yeah, I've been trying to get him to admit it. He kind of sort of slightly says, eats a little bit of crow, but he just kind of nibbles on the feet of it. He doesn't really go full on. Yeah, I was wrong. He'll say something like, oh, well, yeah, he's better. Something like that. We'll see. I mean, he's got to come around eventually, but, he could be one of those pumpkin guys who's like, well, we'll see. We'll see what he does when he goes to the playoffs. Jeffrey, EJ was limited today. I'd say that's pretty good on the injury front. Yeah, limited participation, which is good. Better than even Cooper Kupp, who was non-participant. Hello, FR. Who will block Parsons and Gary? Yeah, Parsons will be a problem when we play the Packers. I have to look at the tape. How the hell did the Panthers do it? How'd they do it? How'd they beat the Packers? Oh, it's crazy. Lena, when someone's injury is bad when they have to blur it out, not a Commanders fan, but still sending prayers to Jaden. Yeah, I watched it on the replay. Oh, God, it was so nasty. Arm is not supposed to bend like that. I don't even know how that happened. Jeffrey, Cross and Lucas, do you not know the people on this team? Who are you asking? Who are you asking? I know Abe Lucas and Charles Cross, so are you asking me? I know who you're talking to. Alina, Crosby not worth 2 first-round picks. And like I said, that's a lot to ask for. He's good, but I don't know if I'd give up that much. Ozzy 88. It's weird how there's no real standout teams in the NFL right now. I mean, there's not like the one team who's just not lost to anybody and is just like invincible looking. Everybody's had like at least one loss where it's like, but Ozzy 88. The Patriots are like 6-2, but I don't trust them in the Super Bowl. LOL. Rousey, you still need someone to throw to on a bad team. They still get around 3K receiving yards to pass around the receivers. JSN's going to be the guy. He's going to get the most targets. I'm not even expecting. You're kind of hung up on the whole receiving yards thing. I'm not even. Rashid Shaheed, I expect he'll probably get like 5 to 6 targets a game, and JSN will get the bulk of them. I don't expect that to change. Cooper Kupp was hardly getting targeted. But when he gets them, I expect he's going to make those catches, and he'll probably get big chunk yardage out of it. But he's not going to have – I'm not expecting him to overtake JSN's numbers. He's going to be a complementary receiver to JSN, who is clearly the go-to guy for Sam Darnold. Now, that's not going to change. I don't expect a guy to come in here and get 1,000 yards, or even 800, 700 yards in the second half of the season. I don't need that from him. That'd be nice if he gets a big breakaway and gets a big 70-yard touchdown or something, but that's not looking for quantity there. Seahawks at Eagles, NFC divisional round. Eagles would be favored by 10. Yeah, you guys are really looking ahead, aren't you? I just want to win the division. Actually, I just want to win the next 2 games. Sentai Ranger Donnie. Hey, everybody. Norman All, happy guy. Day. Hope everyone is well this evening. Also, happy Godzilla month. Right on. A bunch of Hawks fans crashed out when we got Darnold. Yeah, that's because everybody watched that. Everybody saw that. If you have to choose Stafford or Darnold, that's a legit comparison. Just by age, I would go with Darnold because Stafford is not going to be around much longer. I say that right now. Watch, he'll prove to me he'll play 10 more years. Darnold has got the age side on his with him, and I'm really impressed by Darnold. He's really earned my trust with every game that I've watched so far. I just like his decision making, is just fundamentals, just the occasional, like that last interception was just a bad throw. Hopefully he doesn't do that too often. Aussie 80. I knew Darnold would be a good fit, but honestly, I didn't think he'd acclimate so quickly here. I agree, a lot faster than I thought. And I was a Geno Smith fan. I was a Geno Smith, give him one more year kind of guy. Clearly, I was wrong there, with the way it's played out in Las Vegas, even with the reuniting with Pete Carroll. Parsons had 0 pressures against the Panthers, first in career. That's crazy. I don't know how I got to study that and see what they did to neutralize him. JSN should get even more production in the pass game now, Yusuf says. I think so, because the defenders are going to have to figure out, do we try to shut down JSN and then we got to deal with these other guys, or go try to just cover all of them and JSN will find a way to get open. You see how he just left that dude, the defender, at the last scrimmage, just left his jock on the floor with that little and he just was gone. And he would have been open for a touchdown too. But he threw it to Arroyo instead. People are already comparing Daniel's injury to Theismann and RG3. Hope he heals well. Yeah. Oh, it's worse? I think it's worse than the RG3. The RG3 was pretty nasty too, but this one bent the other direction. RG3 is bent kind of sideways, and when we played him in that wild card game way back in 2012. But this is, I can't watch that. I would never watch that again. It's too gross. Rouser, and I was right, is not needle moving, is only depth. Rousers really want to get some kind of admission like, see, just admit I'm right. We're measuring needle moving in a different way. We'll just agree to disagree that way, all right? Elite Dragon, is Darnold now better than Mahomes? Probably there's some statistics that would say he's better, but would you say that in a playoff game you would say I'd put Darnold in instead of Mahomes at this point? Mahomes does some things that are like very specially unique to him, and I wouldn't necessarily say that Darnold could just outplay Mahomes. That's saying a lot, especially to a guy who's had so much playoff experience. It's not a fair comparison, but to this point, who's played the better first half of the season? Darnold has, for sure. Rashid is an insurance policy if Coop or Horton gets hurt. This is true, but I think he's more than an insurance policy. I think he's probably ahead of the depth chart, ahead of, I think he's equal level with Horton. And we might see times even when Cooper Kupp is healthy, Kupp might see the bench, and they might put in Shaheed, Horton, and JSN, depending on the down and distance. Ben Elson. Playoffs? You want to talk about the playoffs? I just want to beat the Rams. That's what I'm saying. I want to beet the Cardinals. Let's start with that. Mahomes is better than Darnold. Saying that, I love Darnold. He does well on this team. Yeah. Yeah, you can still say you like one guy and he's playing great, but not necessarily better than someone else. It's not an all or nothing. Hell, if our Darnold has jet blood, he will choke like that. Oh, come on now, jet blood. He played on him and started his career, and everybody plays on the Jets sucks. That doesn't mean they're stuck with it. Night Fox, JSN always looks open. That is his superpower. Yeah, he's got that get off. He's got that, Doug Baldwin release ability to just make guys look silly at the line of scrimmage. It's amazing how he's just able to do it. I would stop JSN if the other guys beat you, then you tip your cap. Smart. You should say, well, we took away their best weapon and we left all their other weapons open. Alina, what do you think of Tyler Lockett going to the Raiders? I saw the post where he said, hey, you know what? I want a release from the Titans and Seattle. I'm here. You name a number, I'm coming back. And everybody wanted to have the feel-good moment of, yeah, we got Lockett back. The thing is, though, if you were to sign him to the active roster, is you're taking away a spot from a guy. We're already talking about this debate. Who would you put on the field if it was JSN, Torrey Horton, Rashid Shaheed, and Cooper Kupp, and now and Tyler Lockett? Who's the odd man out, right? It's an emotional, nostalgic thing, but it doesn't make sense for the team. I hate to say it, but it's just at this stage of where he's at and where the team's at, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I love the guy, and he's been great, but it's changed. The family's changed. But I do hope he comes back and he signs that one-day contract and retires for the Seahawks. I no doubt he will. How are my mom and dad? They're doing great. Yeah, they're doing great. My parents are just slowed down some, so they got to just take it slow. Ben Nelson, thanks for building such a great fan community, Norb. Well, appreciate it. I enjoy doing this. I need to do this more often. I will be. I just have been very tied up with my time of the last few months with this show that I've been editing. And I can't officially tell you, but I will very, very soon about what it is. Jupiter Rain, somehow the 49ers C team will find a way to beat us. We'll see. We broke that streak last year, and it's going to be very different come the end of the season. We'll see where everybody's at and what's on the line. Rams offense is amazing. Sean, what's his face? He's a damn good coach. Frustratingly good. Tyler P. What's up? Tyler Pacha. Elite Dragon. I'm sorry, but if I see the Seahawks as my playoff opponent, I am not scared. Okay. I'm not doing Discord today. I'll do it on the next go around. Just reading comments here on the chat. Gavin Corbett, it's the same with Bobby Wagner. I wish he was still on the team also. Yeah, and I even mentioned that in my little music video that we let go of Bobby Wagner twice. But, Ernest Jones is the man in there now. If 49ers make the playoffs, they will be in the championship game. That is the streak. Yeah, I don't know about this year. They are held together with, Christian McCaffrey is the engine of that team. And somehow they keep finding a way, but without Fred Warner, without Bosa, they will get Ayuk back probably by the end of the year. And so, yeah, I don't know. They're finding a way. But, man, I feel like they're just hanging on, man. Super Bowl losers usually have down years. Yeah. Happened to us, but we still made the playoffs. I think the Rams will come down. I think the Rams game will come down to who has less turnovers. Yeah. Yep. For sure. It'll probably be like the one difference is going to change it all. Albert, we got a 49er fan. We may have took the first game from you guys, but as a Niner fan, we may split the season come a last game. Ooh, 49er fan who is being strangely humble here. Our team is obviously hit with injuries, and I don't see us keeping up with it. Tough one. Yeah, you guys have gotten. There have been injuries across the board. it's been, I don't know what it is. Is it just that the players keep getting bigger and stronger? And so guys are just getting more and more broken because the level of talent is just destroying human beings on the field. But it doesn't it feel like there's a lot more injuries happening, like devastating injuries, like season-ending injuries. It feels like they're getting worse. And yeah, some teams have really got it bad. 49ers are 6-3 despite all those injuries, which is amazing to me. But yeah, it will be interesting to see where we're at come to last game. It could be for everything, or it could be for not much. I mean, so much is going to happen in the next few weeks. It's going to define where the pecking order is in the NFC West. So ours starts Sunday. Tyler P., my birthday is next Wednesday. No video this time, no music video, just a birthday greeting or text or start video is a better option for me. All right. I already know the ground rules, Tyler. I know you well by now. Alina, Weiner streak is also to lose the playoffs all the time. Well, and make it to the Super Bowl and not win it. No, you've seen that. I saw that in person in Las Vegas. Elite Dragon, since 2011, every time the Niners make the playoffs, they were in the championship game. Well, records were made to be broken. Gridflow, final standings predictions. That's for another show. Might have to do it for like a Hawks Real Talk. Henry, regarding the Niners, given how battered they are and how they are held together, you got to think it's going to fall apart at some point. If something happens to Christian McCaffrey, they're done. I mean, he is like the one thing. He is like Rambo saving the whole village, putting the whole team on his back and carrying him all the way. Mac Jones is doing pretty good. I mean, I gotta admit, it must be strange to be a 49er fan who's like, we just paid Brock Purdy all this money, and he's just on the bench, and yet nobody feels the pain of it because you're still winning with a backup quarterback. But if they weren't, they'd be like, man, we just signed off and paid all this money, and this is what we get. Winning solves everything, right? Cassandra Ailman, why does Charbonnet keep playing so much? He is one of the least efficient running backs in the league. It's pathetic. Oh, Cassandra, spitting fire about Charbonnet. It is a little bit weird. I wish they would stay more consistent with Kenneth Walker. My guess is that they're trying to preserve Walker. They've been doing that since the beginning of the season. He didn't play at all during preseason. They always split the reps. I think they're just trying to keep them all fresh because K9 has a history of getting banged up at some point during the season. Usually about this point. I think when he got injured during a Rams game. So I think they're just trying to avoid that, and I think also because the running game is still like this work in progress, so they're trying to progress it while keeping both these guys intact. I think it's great. I'm actually happy that we have both a Charbonnet and a K9 that can trade off. Granted, yeah, if I had to choose one, I would be featuring K9 more often. But I'm glad we have both because Charbonnet does rip off some runs, and he does have a running style that works at times better than Kenneth Walker. But I think, again, maybe this Rashid thing will be the thing that opens up that running game. And again, this is where I say the contributions of what this guy can do isn't necessarily measured in yards that he catches or number of receptions per game. Even if the threat of him being out there is enough to help open up some extra running lanes for the Seahawks, well, then that's a stat you'll never see, but it results in wins, and that's, in the end, more important. So, yeah, I agree with you. I just don't think it's a problem given with where we're at. Because last year we had that situation where it seemed like when one was hurt, the other one was playing, and that one was hurt, the other one would play, but we couldn't keep them both going. So I think it's actually kind of a nice knock on wood that we have two healthy running backs at this stage, because this has been a luxury that's escaped us for many seasons. We've always seemed to have that one dude who's unavailable for one reason or the other. Jupiter Rain, Mac is fine, but when Purdy is back, Fornaz will be okay. I think Purdy's a pretty good quarterback. It's just, man, he's been banged up all season. A lot of QB injuries, says Trevor. Hello, FR. Will the Seahawks beat the Colts? That's a good one. We got to deal with Sauce Gardner now. So that's going to make it tough for somebody out there, but he can't cover everybody. They're a pretty good team, though. We got to stop the run. We need Ernest Jones for that. We need Julian Love for that. So if we can get, Julian Love and Ernest Jones back into the mix in time so they can play together, this defense will be on another level if we can get all those guys. I mean, we'd be lucky that we haven't had worse injuries. So missing those two for sure. Night Fox, I hope we have the playoffs made before the last game. If not, the 49ers will have a lot to play for, lots of games before then. Yeah, that'd be nice to have that feeling like you could rest starters for the last game. Wouldn't that be nice? Ben Elson, I showed my dad the rivalries jersey. His first gut reaction was, oh, ew. But I'll wait to see how they look under the lights. He thinks the new helmet is cool. Might look good with action green. I agree with the helmet part. The helmet does look pretty cool. That iridescent green that kind of changes colors from blue to green depending on the lighting. Not a big fan of the jersey. It's just kind of I don't hate it. It's just not. Could have been so much more interesting. And the green is just a weird green. It's not our green. It's someone else's green. Rouser, would you rather have a home playoff game or a road one as they're undefeated on the road? That's a good point. Selfishly, I'd rather have it at home because that means I could go to it. So, I'd take it home. Playoffs are a whole different beast anyway. Rouser, maybe better that they lose the division. No. You want that division. You want the division. Rudy's World. Hopefully Marcus Mariota can win against the Lions and Dolphins in Madrid. Yeah. Okay. It would be nice to beat the Lions. I'm not, Dolphins I'm not so concerned about. But yeah, anytime it comes to an NFC team that's up there, it's nice to get an edge on them just in case that number 1 or number 2 seed potentially pops up in there. Are we wearing our rivalry jerseys? No, we are wearing them against the Rams at home. That's going to be the rivalry jersey game. Also, you stay inside the warm house. I like being at the games. Cardinals will keep the game close again, and Seahawks will only win by 3. Division games are weird. It could be. That's what it was last time. But we should beat them by more. We should. Rudy's World. Hopefully Marcus Mariota. All right, I saw that already. Cheryl, how come every time the Seahawks defense plays, the quarterback always gets hurt? That's true. I think we were the ones who kind of knocked Purdy out that early in the season, didn't we? And then Jaden Daniels, although it wasn't like we did anything bad to him. It was just a weird fall and a bad luck landing on his arm. It wasn't like the Seahawks decimated him or something. It was just bad luck. But have we hurt anybody else? I don't think we knocked anybody else out, have we? Kyler Murray, did he get hurt when we played him? I don't remember what game that was. Interesting stat. We are very physical, though. There are only 3 wildcard spots. 3 teams in the West, 2 in the North fight for 3 spots, and a good record team will miss. That's true. Now, we were that team last year, remember? We were a 10-win team and didn't get in because we missed it by that much. By not beating the Rams last year. One of Lions, Packers, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks will miss. We'll see. Probably be the Niners. If I were to make a guess, my first guess would be Niners. Because I think the Packers will be there, Rams will be there. Hopefully Seahawks are up there, and then Lions would be there too. So, okay, enough of that. You see that comment every time. Why do you keep clicking on it? What was the last time the Seahawks won the division? 2016? No, we won it in 2020. You forget that game. You forget that year because it was a COVID year. We won the division in 2020, and then we lost to the Rams at home. Remember the pick 6 bubble screen to DK when he was whining that he wasn't getting the football? That's the last time we won the division. It says Seahawks play hard football. I guess the injury thing. Elite at all. Our defense like cats. They like to play with what they catch. LOL. Good one. We also got RG3, sucks for the Commanders. Oh, yeah, we're talking, that's 13 years ago. That's 13 years ago, bro. Ravens was the one that injured RG3 first. Yeah, I remember he was playing with that brace and stuff, and then it was just that final. He kind of got sacked, and he trying to pick up the ball, and his leg gave out. It was a weird one. It was an ugly one, too, but not as ugly as the Jaden Daniels. All right, I'm all caught up in the comments, which means I'm going to wrap up the stream. But thanks for watching, you guys. I hope this was as good for you as it was for me. Felt good to kind of talk about this and get a few thoughts out there for those of you out there paying attention. And we'll see what happens. But it's going to be fun to watch Rashid Shaheed on the field. Wonder what number he's going to be. I'm sure they announced it. I don't know what number he is. But to see him on Sunday will be fun. And see if we can get a win against those pesky Cardinals. All right. I'll be live streaming as usual from inside the stadium, so tune in to my live stream. You can simulcast it, listen to me while you watch the game on TV or whatever you'll be doing. But, yeah, thanks for taking some time out of your evening to watch my stream here, and we'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night, and go Hawks.